Hi, and welcome to part 13 of Let's Build a Chatbot in Blazor Server. Today's video has nothing really to do with AI or agent framework and so on, because I mentioned in the past that this was not about being a perfect design and front end and so on, but I felt like at this point in time, we were with this design and it needed a little fix up. It needed to look prettier, and it needed a lot of quality of life features. So I went and did this as part of the last parts of what we'll do with the Blazor server. We're going to add some more settings, and then I think we're done and moving on to the next step in this the series. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to make this a little prettier, and in general just quality of life. So in order to do that, I wanted to use a design system, and the best design system I know for Blazor is the ModBlazor design system. I've used it a ton over time, but also I don't really want to go into design things here. If you want, every single parts of these have their own branch that you can go into, and you can check between main and speech. And you can see I've changed 40 different files in this and added 2,000 additions to the code. Or let's say I didn't do it. It's mostly Codex who have done it. Over the last 4 hours, I have done various different changes and tweaks, and Codex, my favorite AI coding agent that I can highly recommend, is the one who have done most of this. Because this is not about the design, it's more about getting to a point where we actually feel it feels nice, despite that not being the main part of all this. So I made this, I've done this, and also I wanted this to show that I think this has actually taken longer than all the rest of the series so far to figure out. It's roughly the same 3 hours or 3-4 hours to do. And that's because design is a big part, a bigger part than the AI probably. So it is possible to do, but it's not the main part. So we won't go through every single file here in what we have done. That will take too much time and don't really give you anything. So I'm just going to show the end result and a little about the features I felt were missing, especially around quality of life, that you might also need to remember to put into your system when you build it. Or if you want to just copy paste this and get a chatbot more or less out of the box that actually can be used with a user, you also have that now. But not delay, let's go in and see how it looks now. So this is ModBlazor being used instead, looking roughly the same, but still we have gotten rid of the sidebar over here, new design features, and ModBlazor is just a slightly prettier way. So let's find a place where we use one of the tools. The tool calling looks a bit nicer. You can see the result here is now formatted and all kinds of things. So let's go through case by case what I've done. So one of the first things I put in was dark mode. So now we can switch between light mode and dark mode. This is something that comes out of the box for ModBlazor. I also changed these conversations over here. They are now sorted by the most recent at the top. They are not just buttons anymore, but actually a system where we can go in and either delete or rename the conversation as we wish to here. And if we don't want them anymore, for example this one, we can just say delete them. So that is up and running. Another thing we have done is we have taken all the sidebar over here and put it into a settings page. So the same settings we had here before, with streaming and image generation, instructions, and MCP servers here. I've also taken in memories, so I can go in and actually delete memories and add new memories without needing to talk via the client. So that's also nice. We have moved the signed in user down here, and we have made this a slightly prettier system. Another thing we have done is that if there's images, we can now go into full screen images if need be. That is mostly when we go here and find an image and open it up so we can see it and not just the small images down here. As mentioned, tool call results have now been formatted. Also, if we look at the ones from my MCP server, it's now formatted here. And if this text is very long, we see the full request in here instead. Output, you can see, is also being formatted now. Previously it was just raw text. Now it's actually formatted as Markdown using something called MarkDig, M-A-R-K-D-I-G. And things like, if we say thanks, for example, it actually moves down, and as we are generating, there is progress bars, so we can actually understand what's going on in here. So also you can see while we are generating right now, all the GUI has been locked down, so we can't suddenly start something new. You could argue that you needed to change that a bit and be able to start two threads at the same time and so on. But for now, we've just closed it down so it doesn't go in and give problems. So again, lots and lots of details, but nothing to do with the actually chatbot and AI in general. But I just felt like this was a nice, needed upgrade in order to see a more polished version of what we can build with Agent Framework as a chatbot. So that's everything this time around. Again, there's a few more features that I want to build in. Moving the settings to a real database, and add some more settings to, for example, be able to bring your own API key and set up what provider and different tools we are going to use behind the scenes. But that's for another video. See you there.